Hello, everyone. This is Ben the Hun One, and today we are going to run through my top 10 most played games on Steam. I consider myself primarily a PC gamer. My earliest gaming experiences were playing Pajama Sam and Putt Putt on the family computer, even borrowing games from my little tiny library. I had a brief stint as a Nintendo gamer, saving up for a DS and getting a Wii for Christmas. But I would say that my love for gaming truly blossomed when I got a computer capable of playing bigger and better games. While I've kept up with Nintendo for the most part, I still don't have a Switch 2. My platform of choice has been and will likely continue to be PC. And of course, PC gaming means Steam. There's other PC platforms, of course, but Steam was one of, if not the first one, and still continues to be the most popular, with over 10,000 games released on the platform every year since 2021. I myself have put in hundreds and hundreds of hours into games on this platform, and I would like now to talk about a couple of them that I put the most amount of time into, which these aren't necessarily the best games on the platform or even my favorite ones. But these ones, I can very confidently say I've gotten my money's worth out of them. For the purposes of this list, I'm including an entire genre of games that, while I quite enjoy, much of those hours and hours of playtimes were spent not playing them per se, but just having them on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. Many of you will know it. It's the idle slash clicker slash incremental genre. Cookie Clicker is like the most famous one. My true top 10 has many of these games, but they're not that interesting to talk about, so I'm going to exclude them and just talk about the top 10 games of any other genre. I'm also excluding there's some like game development software I access through Steam, like RPG Maker and Sprite, which I use to do pixel art, such as for me, the guy who's speaking right now. And so just gonna talk about games. So, to begin, number 10 is Hogwarts Legacy. While the author of Harry Potter has unfortunately been lost to time, it is a work of fiction that is very, very dear to me. Many of my early memories are of being read Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets by my father. And after the humongous games I played, some of my earliest PC games I remember playing were the PC versions of Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets. The latter in particular is one of my favorite games, period. Since those early games, Harry Potter has really struggled to make a game that fills that fantasy of going to Hogwarts, taking classes, learning spells, just being able to exist in this space that the author of Harry Potter, who is unknown, did such a great job in fleshing out. Especially in recent years, I've sunk many hours into Hogwarts Mystery on mobile, and it's just not a good game as much as I want it to be. And Hogwarts Legacy is probably the closest we've ever had to the platonic ideal of what a Harry Potter game could be. You can explore Hogwarts, take classes with an asterisk, and make friends, meet people, also with an asterisk, unfortunately, and encounter magical creatures, all great things. The problem here is it is molded to fit into this typical kind of Ubisoft style open world RPG. Hogwarts is super cool and super detailed, but after those first few hours, the vast majority of the time will be spent just wandering around the countryside, fighting the same 10 enemies in caves and ruins and forests, following a storyline that I'm just really not interested in. You get all your spells within those first few hours, and it's great. You feel the progression, and then it just grinds to a halt, with all other progression being through a skill tree where you can spend points that you grind for a very limited amount of to get tiny little modifications to your existing spells or innate abilities, like charge your ultimate meter 10% faster. Just not stuff that sells that fantasy of being a wizard. And with all that said, I still had fun. I think the next game, whether it's Hogwarts Legacy 2 or Hogwarts Journey, whatever, I think that next game, if it uses this as a base and really expands on the things that fall short, like there's a very obviously cut companion system. You're doing these quests for these couple people, and it feels like, oh, they should be able to follow you. There should be more to do here, and there just isn't. So I hope they do more. I spent 60 hours in the game, and while the last, like, I don't know, 15 or 20 were spent bringing the game to the 100% mark, which involved completing just mountains and mountains of copy and paste open world collectible challenge check marks. Ultimately, I don't regret it. I think it is a fun time, just with a lot of caveats that I hope are fixed. Number 9 will be the newest game to come out that is on this list, The 100 Line Last Defense Academy, a game by Kazutaka Kodaka, which is the creator of Danganronpa, and Kotaro Uchikoshi, the creator of Zero Escape, two Japanese franchises that I hold very dear, each of which have a game in their series that I would put, spoiler, in that top 10 games of all time, my favorites. And this game is truly a match made in heaven. I really want to say as little as possible to those who have not played it so that you stay spoiler free, but there's so many twists and turns in the story. I was always on the edge of my seat. The tactical combat is very fun too, keeps things in a nice balance between the visual novel and gameplay portions. I can name many visual novels that I really love, but when there isn't like an active gameplay component to it, that isn't just reading, I tend to get bored. So if you like Danganronpa, Zero Escape, or any other like derivative works, I highly, highly recommend it. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that one of the 100 Lines claims to fame is it has 100 endings, and I've only seen like 20 of them, which has taken me 61 hours. So still a lot of game left to give there, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I heard they even want to put out a DLC with more, which is just crazy, but I will be buying it day one for sure. Number 8 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I am a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, but I tend to lean more towards the like story and anime kind of side of things. I think the card game's fun. I really like to collect the cards, as evidenced by some of the videos on this channel, but I don't find myself sitting down with a deck of cards and playing it very often. So Duel Links is perfect. It's simpler, faster, with a heavy emphasis on the story and characters from the anime that I really like. Like 5Ds is one of my favorites, and it is very heavily represented. A lot of fun. On Steam, I've played 63 hours, but I've easily put in at least 300 hours on my phone. Lots and lots of fun to be had. Number 7 is Stardew Valley. I played a lot of Harvest Moon as a kid, so it's a formula I know works well and that I enjoy quite a bit. So I bought this game kind of around when it came out and thought it was good, but like many games I will talk about next, it never quite like hooked me until I had a chance to play co-op with some friends, and I really grew to love it. There's so much to do, people to meet, quests to complete. It's great, especially in co-op where you have a real person to talk and collaborate with. That makes so many games way more interesting. And I have spent 67 hours playing, mostly in co-op, a little bit in single player. Number 6 is Halo, the Master Chief Collection. As I've talked about earlier, I'm a Nintendo and a PC gamer, so I never really had a chance to play much Halo. I played a little bit of co-op at a friend's house when I was younger, enough to think, hey, that looks kind of cool, but not enough where I'm begging my parents to buy me an Xbox. When it finally came to Steam, I jumped at the opportunity to do a deep dive into the franchise. Most of my 76 hours have been in the campaign, playing on my own, going through every single game, but I've also enjoyed smashing my head against the wall in some co-op lasso. Just like PvP deathmatch is alright, but not really what I'm here for. You know, I can kill random people in any game. Of the 6 games that the collection includes, my favorite would have to be Halo 2. Takes everything that worked from 1 and just expands upon it greatly with a deep and compelling story. Getting to play as both the Master Chief and the Arbiter is super cool. Really, really fun. I highly recommend that one in particular, though you can't go wrong with pretty much anyone. Number 5 is Factorio, another game that I thought was cool, bought, played for a bit, and then didn't really touch it for a few years until I got to playing co-op with some friends. As a programmer, it really scratches that itch of like optimization and number go up excitement that a lot of idle games have, and also like debugging code has. Super, super fun. I have 82 hours at the moment on Steam, but I played even more when I had it DRM free before it came to Steam. Number 4 is the legendary Persona 5 Royal. I wanted to play this game forever, and when it finally came to Steam, again, I jumped on the opportunity. Big RPG guy, and having that balance of RPG, combat, dungeon exploration with this like visual novel, social simulation gameplay. Being able to just jump back and forth between those two makes it so I don't get bored of either one, like we did with The 100 Line. If this was just a social sim or if it was just an RPG, I would get bored for sure. But having both of these modes of play makes it a lot of fun. Such a great story, so many great characters. I would highly recommend it to anyone. Don't just watch it on YouTube, play it for real. If I had to give one flaw, it's just so long. It took me 138 hours to beat the game, and I had to take like a 6-month break about 75% of the way through. It was just too much. Number 3 is Destiny 2, a highly addictive MMO looter shooter. I played it off and on since it came to PC on originally Battle.net, and a lot more when it came to Steam properly. I've always stayed on like the surface level of things, just enjoying like the campaign and grinding activities to get to the power cap each season. High-end stuff like raids and strikes and all. I never really got into that as a result of being really shy of talking to strangers, not really having many IRL friends who were really into it. So mainly I'm there for the story, and it definitely ebbs and flows in quality, but overall I think it was a net positive to invest 145 hours into it. Number 2 is Team Fortress 2, my kind of OG PvP shooter that I've played tons and tons of with friends. Recently, I haven't really played it that much, just like, an hour here, hour there, because it's still fun to, jump onto Fort with some people every couple months and see what kind of hijinks ensue. My 228 hours have mostly been in casual, with either competitive or community maps really being my jam. But I see the appeal of stuff like Saxton Hale. Just, I prefer the main thing. It was on life support for so many years, and I am very happy to see that Valve is starting to put the time and the energy into getting things going again. And finally, number 1, Terraria. Terraria? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a ton of fun. It actually was my first game I ever purchased on Steam after watching Peanut Butter Gamer's Terraria Hardcore series and thinking it looked super fun. I played a bit of it, but it ended up mostly just sitting in my library until years later. I tried multiplayer with a few friends of mine and got really into it. I played through the whole game many times on many different versions with many different groups of people, and I've always had a blast every single time. And that's not even considering mods. Tmod Loader lets you add all kinds of stuff to the mix. But the majority of my time, which is 274 hours as of recording, has been just in the vanilla game because it's just so much fun. And for only $10, you can't beat that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next week.